Hi, I'm Joey Black. I'm Lee Malia's guitar tech. I've been working for Lee since Redden Leeds in 2015, August. And we're kind of starting the new album cycle. Comes out in a couple of months. But this is just like the little pre-tour that we're doing around UK and Europe. And we recently just built a new rig. The amps have always stayed the same since I've been on the gig. But we just built the new version of the switching system that we're now using. But we're using 3 amps essentially. We're using JTM 45 for the clean, JCM 800 for the dirty, and then we're using the power section of another JCM 800s to run a Kemper through. So it's now become a 3 amp setup. It used to just be the 2 before, but since they came out of the studio, they had a few like album specific tones. So that's why we're running the Kemper through. The amps are running into cabs, so we got the clean and the Kemper are going into a 4x12, but it's split down the middle, so half's one amp and half is the other amp. And then we're running the dirty through a 4x12 as well, but all 4 speakers. And the dirty amp's loaded with V30s, and then the clean and the Kemper are both G12s, just the same, just stock Marshall ones. But they're custom white ones, so they're a little bit nicer. So this is the new rack. This is mainly what's new. So we're using the RGM system. So this is the pedal board that Lee now has out by his feet, and then I have an identical one. So that's the master and the slave, so I can change songs for him, and now he just banks up every song, so every song's got its own patches. And basically everything's controlled by MIDI now, so we use the radial to switch between our amps and our wirelesses. And in the effects loop, which is in the back of the radial, we've got the effects gizmo, which has all these pedals. The main sound for Lee is, for his dirty tone, is a JCM 800, and then we push it slightly with a pedal in the front end. And at the moment we're using this clone. It's a clone of a silver clone. Lee had it in the studio and he A/B'd it with a real clone and said it sounded identical, so we're just using them, a bit cheaper. It sounds the same, so that's all it is going through the front. And then we use a Sentry noise gate as well, just to keep it tight and to cut out any unwanted feedback and hum and stuff. But Lee's always used the 800 because that's his sound, and he does a lot of like single string stuff, and he uses an 80 gauge on the bottom string. And the 800 just gives him the attack that he needs from having low tuned guitars, and it's not a lot of gain like compared to a lot of other like bands in this genre. I think a lot of people are surprised that all the rig really is Les Paul, Gibson style guitars into Marshalls, cranked high volume. But that gives him enough gain. It gives him a big dynamic range, which you tend to lose when you got amps with loads of high gain in. So that's the dirty, is we're using the clone. We use a modded Soul Food in the JTM for like a crunchy, clean lead tone. And then we're using some Strymon pedals. We use a Big Sky and a Timeline for all of his lead riffs, and like all his clean just has that on. And this is a new thing as well. We were using a Boss EQ before, but now we're using this Free the Tone EQ. And you can see on the front of it, it's just got all the low end cut out, and we use that for like verses, just for like smaller, thinner riffs. And then when he comes in on the chorus, it'll hit into like the full JCM 800 tone. So that's it essentially. It's just everything centered around the Marshall amps, clean and dirty.